Okay, let's do this. Hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. Although it's primarily a holiday for the United States of America, but there are other people around the world that do tend to celebrate that day as well. So hope you all had a great Thanksgiving holiday. I spent some time over at my brother's and sister-in-law, and we had a good time and ate some good food and gave thanks to God. All right, let's get started here. We're going to look at the S&P 500. Normally I don't do a video on Friday, but we're going to do it today since there wasn't any yesterday. I'll send out emails as I always do. We'll do it emails for Friday as well here because there wasn't any yesterday. To all of the customers. All right, let's get started. We're going to look at the trade of the day and go through some of the products. Let's take a look and see what's happening here. So were there any good trades? Let's turn on the Get Us Plus indicator. It's going to help us out with that. We can turn off that universe indicator, which is more of a daily thing. Okay, 5-minute chart we're looking at here. 5-minute chart on the S&P 500 futures. It's opened up last night right there. And yeah, opened up at 5 o'clock. And this is pretty much all through the night and all the way through today to the close. And the market is, well, the market is, let's see, did it go all the way close already? I guess. This is interesting. I guess they closed on. I didn't expect them to be closed early. Did they just lump all that on to, this is very interesting. Because I see 10 after 12 here for Friday. So, looks like they closed half day on Friday. I didn't expect that. I'll have to look at the futures time. But I thought they were going to have futures all the way till regular 4 o'clock and then close it with Thursday only being a half day. But looks like they did half day today and Friday as well. It's okay. We'll still do the product reviews, see where everything's at. So for futures, S&P 500 looks like it traded half the day here on Friday. And, you know, unless I'm imagining things, today is Friday. Yep, Friday the 29th. Okay. Oh, boy, I like this trade right here. This happened at 9:05 this morning. Look at this trade. My goodness, what a trade. What an opportunity. 9:05 right there, guys and gals. That is a winner. Right there, GS Plus indicator says, I think there's a trade here. Look at this momentum. This momentum was on fire. The price action dips down a little bit, goes back up, SMI goes up. Right there's your trade, right as it doesn't even get below the top line. See, that's very bullish, right? It didn't come down here and touch the bottom line and then bounce like you see here or here or here, right? It didn't do that. It came down, bounced, went right back up. That's your signal to get into the trade. Somewhere right in here, and bam. This thing just stays hot all the way over to here. So you could get out somewhere like right there. Looking at, let's call it 60.42 up to about 60.55, 13 points. Wow. Okay, pretty nice. About $650 for one contract. Very, very nice. Really nice trade right there. Let's look to see if there's any on the 15-minute chart. Sometimes there will be. Yeah, this is not bad. Look at this one. This is, oh my goodness. This trade right here is so good. 7:30 this morning. Now, on this one, you have to wait for it to play out a little bit. Like you got to wait until momentum starts to turn down here. Because it is negative, so I'd be super cautious. I wouldn't be trading this just on this immediate bounce on the SMI. I'd wait. Now, once you get the crossover here, which looks like it happened, I'd say safely at 9 o'clock in the morning. So that's 8:45. Right here, you can take your trade on this candlestick. And just let it roll. Goes all the way up here. Wow, what a trade. This one's really good too. This one's about 15 points, but very similar to the one on the 5-minute chart, was 13 points. The one on the 5-minute chart's a little bit clearer, a little bit easier to trade. Those are your trades of the day. Even though it's a half day, still pretty good money. Let's take a look at the rest of the products. The daily chart on the SP 500, we'll go to the rest of the products. Okay, pretty decent update here. 45 range for considering only traded half a day. That's not bad. Market's very bullish, guys. Look at this thing. Very bullish. Continues to go up. Yep, December 10th is still there for a cycle low, but right now there's not a hint that this market has any idea of pulling back. Okay, let's look at the Dow Jones Transportation. We'll go through the rest of the products here. Just tracking sideways. Looks a little bit like it might just track sideways here or pull back into December 10th. It could do this, but still super bullish on transportation. Okay, not seeing any big movements here that make me think the market's in any kind of trouble. Same thing with the Russell 2000, almost identical. I said this before. The Russell 2000 and transportation track each other a lot. I've been watching this dynamic for probably the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months, how the Russell 2000 and transportation will track each other. If you want to know what the Russell 2000 is doing, just look at transportation. I know it sounds weird, but I'm telling you, they're often correlated. A little sip of coffee there. Yeah, just tracking sideways here. I actually think this is a sign of strength, at least for the moment. Very bullish, just like the Dow Jones Transportation. Yes, it may pull back down here. Let me get into the daily chart. Looking at the wrong, into December 9th. It may pull back down into that. We saw December 10th, I think, on the Dow Jones Transportation. So very, very similar to these two products. Absolutely amazing. Okay, let's look at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ's been trying. It just isn't going anywhere. Up, sideways. It's just not something I'd trade. It's sideways action. If you want to trade options in that narrow band range, fine, go for it. But man, there's so many better opportunities. I would not touch the NASDAQ right now. It just looks like it's just absolutely going nowhere. SPX. Yep, continues to move up. Kind of doing the slow grind up, but it's doing it. And I think there's a little bit more in this still. Looks pretty strong to me. It may start to roll over here. For some reason, I keep getting the 2-hour instead of the daily. It may roll over into the December 15th. So be aware of that. We might get a little pullback coming into that second week of December. Okay. But again, I don't see a big pullback just yet. December can be weird, though. I've seen huge pullbacks before. We'll keep an eye on it. But for right now, there's not even a hint that this market has any weakness in it whatsoever. Market looks very strong, except for the NASDAQ that looks kind of limpy. All right, let's look at the Nikkei 225 over in Japan. Continues to track sideways and down, right? It has a down sideways bias going on, and it is now officially negative territory. I tell you what, any kind of little bounce in here and it starts to roll over, I take a short right there. I wouldn't do it yet. Yeah, you know what? You could even probably try to do a short right now. Yeah, it'd be a really small position. I'd be careful about it, but a small position short on the Nikkei 225 is probably going to be okay. Okay, Japanese yen. A little bit on fire here. SMI's doing pretty well. Could go up a little bit higher. Let's see, what was this over here? 75. Right now we're at 65. So it could go a little bit higher here. We got a nice big gap going on, but still below the zero line. Momentum's turning green there on the scale. It's not positive yet, though. If it fails, if it gets up here and fails, okay, and momentum stays kind of like that, then watch out. If momentum strongly crosses over, then we have a different story. I wouldn't trade it long. I just don't trust it as a long. It's starting to repair itself, but it isn't there yet. Okay, I would rather see the MACD bullish on the positive side momentum, and then start taking advantage of the oscillations on the SMI. Okay, let's look at the Euro-dollar futures here. They're trying to get going. About the last 3 or 4 days, trying to get going here. It is so bearish as far as momentum goes. Really big time negative momentum. I just don't think it's going to do very well. I think it's going to fail. And this momentum is going to come up here and just do something and not get positive. But if the only time that I would say start watching for positive momentum is if the SMI gets up here like this, kind of dips down halfway, comes back up, and just kind of sits above the zero line here, the middle line, right? It never gets down to the bottom line. Then I'd say, okay, watch out, that's very strong. Okay, but right now it still looks pretty bearish to me. Same thing with the British pound, trying to make a good run for it. Super, super negative momentum way down here. So a lot of repair to do. Same thing we just talked about on the euro dollar. The only way this becomes really like a sign it's becoming bullish if it gets up here and just kind of stays up in this area, okay, and never comes down and touches this bottom line. Then we can start thinking about this momentum crossing over. But for now, I'd be looking for an opportunity to short, especially if it does one of those deals. Okay, let's look at gold here. What's happening with gold? Gold continues to be super resilient, guys. Amazing how gold just refuses to give it up. Gold is one of those products, boy, just when you think it's going to be beaten down. You know, this was basically the Trump effect here. That's what this... well, the Trump effect was over here, actually. Sorry. The Trump effect suppressed the crap out of gold. And I said that was going to happen, and it did. Then it came up, made a nice run, then had a huge down day on the 25th. Now it's just on the struggle bus here, slowly making its way upward. It doesn't look good to me. It is a resilient product, but it looks like to me it's just going to struggle here and probably roll over going into late December. That's my take on gold right now. I wouldn't trade it. It is resilient, but I just wouldn't touch it. I don't think it's a tradable. The predictability on that product right now is a little bit shaky. Silver. Boy, look at this thing. Tracking sideways. And trying to repair itself. Which surprises me. I really thought this thing was headed this way. But it's literally trying to repair itself here. Got up here. I thought I was going to do this. Now instead it's going sideways. Keep an eye on this. It's definitely not out of the woods. It's trying to cross over momentum-wise. This is still negative momentum. I'd be super careful about trading it long, that's for sure. I would not trade it long. That's not with this negative momentum going on. It's just like gold. You can't really touch it at the moment. Okay, let's look at crude oil. I said crude oil is going to get down to the 60s a while back. There it is in the 60s. I said it's going to go into the 50s even, and I believe that's where this is headed. Yeah, crude oil hit a cycle low a couple days ago. May not actually be done. This has probably got some more room to go down here, so some more price decline, maybe getting below. Let's see, get this. Could get below 67. Get down here into mid 60s. Okay, and what we'd be looking for is if we're looking for this, if it does this, okay, I don't mean this second part of this where it bounces strong. I just mean that part. Let's see, looking for a failure. Here's a better example of it. If it does this, that's a failure, right? It never gets to the top line. That's a complete failure. It fails hard. So that's what I'd be looking for. Will crude oil come down, roll up, not get enough steam going, and then fail again? If it does that, which is what we saw here, that's a short side trade big time because we got negative momentum. Now, the momentum's not super negative here, but it is negative. And I suspect crude oil is going to slowly erode. That is my guess on crude oil. Let's look at the weekly real quick on crude oil. What's the deal? Yeah, on the weekly, it actually is pretty negative. This is fairly negative on the weekly. And you can see here it did not get any kind of love, right? So this product on the long term looks weak to me, and I believe it's going to begin to really show up on the daily chart, and we're going to see crude oil begin to take the old dive. I don't think it's going to survive. I think it's going to have a hard time going, especially with Trump in the White House. They're going to drill, baby, drill, as he said, and it's going to drive the price of crude oil down. I think crude oil is a good investment to the short side in the future. Get it? Future? I do. I think crude oil is going to be a good moneymaker to the short side. Keep an eye out for that. All right. Let's see. What else? Let's look at corn. Corny corn, boy. Look at this thing. It is on a roll. Corn is on a roll. It did get up here and kind of tracking sideways and choppy, and now, boy, oh boy, we do have some decent momentum going on here. That's a good bullish sign. That's a good bullish sign. What do I think? Corn long. Yeah. I do believe corn is done doing its shenanigans here for the 25th, which was nothing. And when the low was right on the 25th, it was barely even a dip. I think corn long is a way to go here. Small position long looks good to me. I might even take a long position on this. Let's look at wheat real quick. Yeah. Wheat is negative momentum, and it's in the undecided category. Do not touch wheat. It's just floating around. Don't touch it. Corn looks like a long side trade. Wheat is just hanging out. Don't touch it. All right, I made some money on wheat like a week or two back, whatever it was right here. I made some money on this because it looked like it was weak to me, and I took advantage of that. All right, let's look at XLP. Finishing up with XLP on fire. XLP has now crossed over as of today. The GIDS Plus indicator, which is just kind of rare to see this on the daily chart. The GIDS Plus indicator has indicated that it believes there's a trade here for the XLP. I believe there is too. I'd wait a little bit here. December 9th is a cycle low. I'm a little bit cautious about the cycle low. I think this is to tell you what I think is the way to trade this. We got positive momentum, and it looks like it's going to be a really healthy positive momentum. This thing is super wide. I think it's going to run for a while, okay? So here's the deal. It's probably going to pause up in here somewhere as we approach this second week of December. Let it do its pause. It's going to dip, and what I'm hoping for here is for long side, it just does that, okay? Like one of these deals. It only comes down to here. Now, this is a different scenario because we can tell it was kind of weak in the first place. But I'm just looking for that kind of decline. It doesn't touch the bottom line. You follow me? It doesn't touch the bottom line. So, and then it takes off. So you're looking for something like that. That kind of SMI, you can see momentum here was positive, right? That's what we're looking for over here, positive momentum. We're looking for the SMI to come down, not quite get down to the bottom line, turns and burns. And when it does that, it starts to turn to go up, you take your trade long, which this product, since it's an ETF, you'd be trading probably most likely options, right? That is it. Become a member, $7.99 a month. Hope everybody had a great, happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you all real soon again next time.